The Man Who Hated Aspidistras by W.F. Harvey. The earliest memories of Ferdinand Ashley Wilton were green memories of Aspidistras. The aunt with whom he lived at Cheltenham was fond of the plants. As you entered the hall of Claremont Villa, there was on the right an upturned drainpipe painted a sage green and decorated with arum lilies. This contained Miss Wilson's umbrellas and her father's walking stick. Projecting into the hall on the left, a fretful erection of mahogany supported a mirror, hooks for cloaks, and 2 shelves. On the upper shelf was a porcelain bowl that contained the cards of callers. On the lower, in a sea-green earthenware pot, precariously rested the first of the Aspidistras. The second stood in the dining-room, in summer in the fireplace, in winter on the ledge of the window that faced south. In the drawing-room was the third, raised high above the ground on a fluted wooden pedestal. The fourth and last Aspidistra stood on the round table by the couch in Miss Wilton's bedroom. At night it was carried out onto the landing, for Miss Wilton, remembering something that her doctor had once said about sick rooms and flowers, thought it, on the whole, wisest that she should sleep alone. The Aspidistras dominated Ferdinand's life. They were always liable to be upset, so that he was not allowed to run about in the hall or dining-room. When he was a very small boy, he had a fancy that they repeated to Miss Wilson the many things that he had done amiss, and especially did he distrust that fourth plant, which stood at night, a sleepless sentinel on the landing close to his bedroom door. As he grew older, he learned reluctantly how to sponge their leaves with soapy water. When a gentle rain was falling, he would carry them into the garden in order that they might enjoy what Miss Wilson called a thorough soaking. But if Ben the poodle were in the garden, he had to be brought in straight away and dried. The laws governing the vegetable and animal worlds seemed to Ferdinand strangely different. In very dry weather, the bath would be half filled, and the 4 Aspidistras would stand in a row for hours, partially submerged. Ferdinand was not allowed to sail his boat among the gloomy islands of this archipelago, but if his conduct had been satisfactory, he was permitted to pull the plug before going to bed. Ferdinand was a very still little boy when he was sent away to school. He was constantly ailing, and even when he was well, he received more than his due share of kicks and bruises. In the matron's room he felt as if he were back again at Cheltenham. The pot of Aspidistras reminded him so much of his aunt.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?